Welcome back to our channel, Seekers of Truth and History. It is a pleasure to have you join us today as we embark on a fascinating journey through time, peeling back the layers of centuries to examine one of the most enigmatic and revered objects in human history. We invite you to settle in, open your mind to the evidence of the past, and join us as we explore the hidden story that lies beneath the surface of tradition. In the realm of religious history, few objects command as much reverence and mystery as the Black Stone. According to long-held traditions, this sacred artifact is said to have descended directly from the heavens, a divine gift given to Abraham by the angel Gabriel to be placed as a sign within the Kaaba. It is viewed by millions not merely as a rock, but as a celestial relic, untouchable in its sanctity and destined to testify on the Day of Judgment. This is the story that has been passed down through oral histories and theological narratives for generations. However, when we turn our gaze from the sky to the ground, a different voice begins to speak, the voice of archaeology. The physical evidence found in ruins, altars, and the tangible remains of the ancient world tells a story that predates the established monotheistic narratives, revealing that this stone was kissed, touched, and worshipped long before the advent of Islam. This narrative is not about subjective opinion or conjecture. It is about following the trail of evidence where it leads, and the evidence suggests that the Black Stone served as a pagan idol long before it became a monotheistic relic. To understand the true origins of this artifact, we must cast our eyes across the broader landscape of the ancient Near East. In this region, the worship of sacred stones was not an anomaly. It was a widespread and deeply rooted religious practice. These stones were known as Baetyls or Baetyls, a term derived from the Semitic word Bet-El, which translates literally to house of God. The ancient peoples believed that these uncarved, natural stones were not merely symbols, but were actually inhabited by the divine. They believed the stones were alive, housing the very presence and power of a god within their rough exterior. This belief system spanned a vast geography, stretching from the civilizations of Mesopotamia to the lands of Canaan, and from the rock-cut city of Petra down into the deserts of northern Arabia. In this ancient world, the veneration of such stones was the norm rather than the exception. Pagan Arabs would treat these stones with immense devotion. They would kiss them, anoint them with sacred oils, and perform rituals of circumambulation, circling around them in acts of worship. One of the most striking examples of this practice is found in Petra, the capital of the Nabateans in what is now modern-day Jordan. There, archaeologists have uncovered sanctuaries where stones were placed and worshipped as manifestations of the divine. Similarly, in the city of Emesa, known today as Homs in Syria, the sun god Elagabal was worshipped in the form of a black stone. These examples demonstrate that the veneration of sacred black stones was part of the spiritual fabric of the entire region. Mecca was not an isolated island in this cultural sea. It was part of the same spiritual landscape. Islamic sources themselves provide confirmation that the Kaaba was a thriving center of idol worship long before the time of Muhammad. According to historical records, including Sahih al-Bukhari, the Kaaba once housed 360 idols, representing a deity for every day of the lunar year. Crucially, the Black Stone was already there amidst this pantheon. It was already being honored, kissed, and touched as part of the pilgrimage rites of the pre-Islamic Arabs. This is not merely a claim made by critics. It is a historical reality acknowledged by standard references. The Encyclopedia Britannica, for instance, states plainly that the Black Stone of Mecca is a Muslim object of veneration that probably dates back to the pre-Islamic religion of the Arabs. Historians such as al-Azraqi, in his work regarding the history of Mecca, confirm that the pre-Islamic Arabs venerated the Black Stone, touching it and circling it as a core part of their devotional life. These practices, the physical acts of devotion toward the stone, were not invented by Islam. They were inherited from an older, pagan past. Modern historical scholarship aligns with this view, noting that before the advent of Islam, the Black Stone was already a significant religious object for the tribes of Arabia. The Kaaba was built to contain this revered stone, fitting into the broader patterns of Arabian polytheism, which often included the veneration of celestial bodies. Some scholars even suggest that the Black Stone held cosmic or astrological significance in these pre-Islamic practices. When we analyze the rituals preserved in Islam, circumambulation, kissing the stone, and touching it to receive blessings, we see that these are identical to the rites practiced by pagans for centuries prior. History tells us that before claiming prophethood, Muhammad actually helped reposition the Black Stone during a renovation of the Kaaba. When we look at the characteristics of the Black Stone, it fits every single category of Baetyl worship. It is a dark, unshaped stone. It is embedded in a shrine. It is kissed and touched during ritual performance. It is believed to contain supernatural power, and it is said to possess the ability to speak and intercede. This is, by definition, textbook Near Eastern paganism. The primary difference lies not in the object or the action, but in the theology that was constructed later to justify it. In the ancient pagan worldview, stones were sacred because they were the dwelling places of gods. In the Islamic narrative, the stone is recontextualized as an object from paradise. However, functionally, the two beliefs operate in an identical manner. A sacred stone serves as a medium for divine power. To bridge the gap between the pagan reality and the new monotheistic framework, a myth developed. Tradition holds that the Black Stone did not begin as a dark rock, but arrived from paradise whiter than milk. It is said that the sins of the sons of Adam are what turned it black. This narrative echoes countless ancient myths where sacred objects are corrupted by human fault, serving to explain the stone's physical appearance while attributing it to a divine origin. Just as the culture of Arabia revered the red stone of Gaiman and the white stone of Al-Abalat, they had a well-established pattern of placing sacred stones in shrines. This practice was not unique to Islam, but was part of a known Near Eastern religious heritage. The Black Stone effectively borrows that legacy, rebrands it, and embeds it within a monotheistic story, yet the ritual form remains completely unchanged. This leads to a profound theological question. Islam claims to be the final revelation and the purest form of monotheism, strictly forbidding idolatry. The Quran repeatedly condemns the worship of idols, instructing believers not to invoke anything besides God that can neither benefit nor harm them, and asserting that there is nothing like unto God. Given this strict stance, why is a literal rock kissed, honored, and said to have the ability to speak? This contradiction was not lost on the early followers of Islam. The second caliph, Umar, famously expressed his cognitive dissonance regarding the stone. He is recorded as saying, "By Allah, I know that you are only a stone and can neither harm nor benefit. Had I not seen the prophet kiss you, I would not have kissed you, comma. This admission is revealing. It highlights that the practice did not stem from a logical consistency within monotheism, but was a retained habit sanctioned by the prophet. Islam did not purge idolatry from Mecca in the absolute sense. Rather, it renamed it. It retained the rituals, removed the physical statues surrounding the stone, and gave the stone a new role, but not a fundamentally new origin. The object remained the same, the actions remained the same, and only the justification changed. From a biblical perspective, this retention of object veneration is still considered idolatry. The biblical definition of idolatry is not ambiguous. It does not merely condemn the worship of false gods, but also condemns the use of any physical object in worship. The commandment forbids making carved images or bowing down to serve them. A powerful parallel is found in the story of the bronze serpent. Even though it was built under God's command for healing, once the Israelites began to venerate it as an object, it was ordered to be destroyed. This underscores the principle that God is not honored through stones, but is worshipped in spirit and truth. In contrast to the veneration of the Black Stone, the historical figure of Jesus Christ offers a completely different model of worship. Jesus never kissed stones, never circled a cube, and never endorsed sacred relics as a means of acquiring spiritual merit. Instead, his actions were characterized by cleansing the temple, driving out merchants, and confronting empty rituals. He offered himself as the final atonement, moving the focus of faith away from physical objects entirely. Ultimately, the story of the Black Stone does not serve to prove the validity of Islam. Rather, it exposes its roots. The Kaaba was a pagan structure. The rituals performed there were pagan rituals, and the stone itself was an object venerated by pagans. The archaeological and historical records are clear in confirming this continuity. The concepts of sacred stones, divine presence in rocks, ritual kissing, and intercession are all hallmarks of the pre-Islamic past. Islam simply moved the stone into a new storyline. However, the conclusion drawn by many seeking spiritual truth is that God does not dwell in stones. In the Christian worldview, the true cornerstone is Christ himself, fulfilling the prophecy of the stone that the builders rejected becoming the cornerstone. Unlike the Black Stone, Christ is not kissed but followed. He is not embedded in a cube but rose from the grave. And he does not speak as a stone but as the living Word of God. The narrative suggests that salvation is found not in a rock, but in the person of Jesus Christ. Thank you so much for watching and reading this deep dive into history and archaeology. We hope this narrative has provided you with a new perspective on the ancient world and the origins of these enduring traditions. If you found this information valuable or thought-provoking, please leave a like on this video. It really helps us out. We would love to hear your thoughts, questions, or insights in the comments section below. Let's keep the conversation going. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel and sharing this content with someone who is searching for truth. God bless you, and never stop seeking.